Hi, I'm Lori, and I'm working through my learning program at the Lincoln Unlimited Learning Center. We just call it LULC. You might need to know a little more about me. Let's see. I'm 14, my parents are both teachers. I'm really into music, gymnastics, math, all sorts of techie stuff. I'm planning to go to college, maybe sooner than age 18, if I plan right. And don't tell anyone, but I think Chris Miller is really hot. No. LULC has about 4,000 students. That's everybody from the little preschoolers to the 18-year-olds who are just finishing their programs. Our school really changed a lot a few years ago. Our community had this future planning thing and changed the name of the school, and also the whole way everyone schedules and learns. That's why we have individual learning plans now that we get to set up ourselves, based on how we've been doing in the past with behavior and accomplishments and stuff like that. So, I'm working on my learning schedule for the next 2 months. I'll try to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it as I go through. Some students have their plan made for them, but most of us have learned to do our own as we move through the LOs. LOs, that's learner outcomes. I think we're one of the only schools in our area that's doing it this way right now, but lots of people, like you, are coming to see what we're doing and find out how to do it in their own schools. My friends and I really like doing our schoolwork this way. We go through LOs at our own speed, and most people graduate earlier than the people in the old school schools where everyone has to do the same thing at the same time. Today is February 1st. I'm planning for March and April. I usually try to plan early, so that way I make it into all the seminars I want, while I still have time to do other things with friends. I like to stay a full month ahead of my plan. Mom and Dad sometimes make suggestions about what I should do in my plan. Actually, they could just tell me what they want, but usually they agree with me. Mrs. Trezona, my learning coach, really can say yes or no about my plan, but she knows me pretty well, and I know her. I picked her for my learning coach. She can be pretty tough sometimes, but that's a good thing.
Hey, hon, are you ready to get started on March and April?
Yeah, Dad, I think so. Today I'm doing my plan with Dad. I basically know what to do, but he usually has some pretty good ideas. Mrs. Trezona doesn't have to be here for my planning, but she checks it out afterwards and lets me know if there's a problem after I hit send. Step 1. I look at my learning portfolio. I check out what LOs I've completed and which ones I need to start on next. All of the LOs linked to my learning portfolio are on the LULC webpage. With some help from Mrs. Trezona, I figured out that planning in a certain way really saves me from having to change everything just about when I thought I was done with my schedule. Mrs. T said that I should schedule first all the activities that are not very flexible, that can't be changed very easily, and save the flexible stuff for the end. I love gymnastics. I do all around, and I'm on the LULC team. The gymnastics schedule is not flexible at all, so I schedule it first. Practice from 3:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, except on meet days. It's easy to put my practices and meets on the schedule when most of the other days are blank. The next least flexible things to schedule are the in-depth seminars, because they require face-to-face between me and my learning facilitator, and between me and the other students. The things I want to schedule are the interpersonal communication seminar, the diversity seminar, the creating and defending a business plan seminar, and I think I'm also going to add the forms of government seminar. I have to fit this in during the next 60 days, so it will be pretty busy, but 3 of my friends, and Chris, are scheduling that last one too. Each of the 4 seminars I want is scheduled at least once during March and April. I'll schedule the ones that are only offered once first, and hope I get them. That's why I like to do my scheduling at least a month early, so if I can't get into the seminars I want when I want because they're full, I can at least sign up for them the next time they're offered so I can take them soon. Well, wish me luck. And my friends too. Oh, and Chris. Most of my science is online. In fact, a lot of my experiments are virtual. But there are some things that the science facilitators want done in the science lab. I actually like that. I get to meet other students there and actually touch the things we're working on. Scheduling the lab time is usually pretty easy. The lab time seems more flexible than scheduling seminars. So, after I have my seminars scheduled, I plug in my science lab times. Some of the lab work requires a lot of preparation, so when I get to a certain point in my LOs, I get an automatic reminder about when the experiment is offered. I just look for an empty space in my schedule and put in lab times in times and in places that work out with my other activities. After planning my schedule for a few years now, I've gotten pretty good at figuring out how to save time and not have to do a lot of extra traveling. Doing online learning by myself makes it easy to schedule. I'm the only one I have to worry about, even though it can get boring after a while. I have 2 good friends I do my online math with. We all are at about the same place in math, and we all go at about the same speed. It makes it fun to be able to work together. We help each other out. We figure out 6 to 8 hours each week to get together and work on math. It's pretty easy because we link up our calendars so we can see what works for everyone. Sometimes we meet to work together in the Learning Community Computer Lab, and sometimes we just meet in someone's house. We live pretty close to each other, so it's not too hard to figure out rides to get together. Everyone at LULC has internet access. The LULC program is pretty good, but there are some things I want to do or learn that don't fit the MCL program. But that's no problem. I just schedule a meeting with Mrs. T, and she helps me figure it out. For example, I wanted to do a project that would help me learn about how the music business works. I'm probably never going to be a musician, but I might be really interested in the business side of the music industry. Well, my mom has a friend who works at a bank who used to be a professional singer. I talked with Mom's friend, and she was really excited about mentoring me in studying the music industry, and her banking experience would help me with the financial part of the industry. She seemed like she really wanted to help me with my learning in the music business area. One of the LOs from the economic sphere of living is on business plans. Even though LULC has a seminar on the same subject, I'm allowed to do a personal project instead of a seminar, as long as I show that I've met the LOs. I'm really excited. Who knows? Someday, maybe I could be a talent scout. One of my friends is thinking about doing this project with me, and Chris says he's interested in the music business too. The last thing I put on my learning calendar is the online LOs that I do on my own and can schedule whenever. Mom and Dad think it's a good idea for me to schedule like a regular job, like a 40-hour work week. I carry my iPad wherever I go so I can work on my online LOs whenever. But I do like to schedule in advance, just to keep from being lazy. I can also work on online LOs from anywhere. That helps with my scheduling too. I'd rather work on them at home, but sometimes if I'm in between seminars or activities, I can just find a quiet place, pull up my learner portfolio, and go for it. Our learning community has lots of places where we can work online. Even businesses like to see us working in their places. Wireless hotspots are all over the place. Sometimes I hang out at the coffee house like a college kid. My friends and I are a little bit competitive with each other. I think we'll all finish our exit LOs and be able to graduate before we hit 17. At least that's what we all shoot for. My parents are a little old-fashioned. They don't want me to depend on the computer too much. They want me to have lots of time interacting with other students too. So Dad and I always check my plan to see if we can keep it about 50-50. It doesn't have to be exact, but he really wants me to have about the same amount of time learning with groups of people as I do by myself doing online LOs.
All right. I like this and that right there. So that's going to be a good schedule. I think it looks pretty good, huh?
Thanks, Dad.
All right.
My dad said it looks pretty good, so when I hit send, it'll be sent to Mrs. T, Mom and Dad, my gymnastics coach, all my lab and seminar facilitators, and the Learning Community Central Office. The only one that might make any changes would be Mrs. T, and she usually gets back to me pretty quick if she sees anything wrong with my schedule. That's it, my learning schedule for March and April. That's everything I plan to finish over these next 2 months.